I'm Wayne Groomes. Join me as I share with you my passion for exploring the Aussie outdoors, the world's best beaches, the hidden gems in the bush, and all things four-wheel drive.
Stuff that's coming.
It certainly is, and we're doing two identical cars today.
You're kidding me?
Yeah, so that one out there is getting the same as yours is.
Oh, the Colorado.
Yeah. So same parts basically. Oh, similar. But yeah, so these are the rear springs that are going in. These are your shocks with the you got a bull bar and winch on that one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yep. So bull bar and winch springs to suit. Here are the springs.
Yep.
New U-bolts.
How long does this whole process take? Any idea?
Generally about 4 hours.
The front struts are removed by disconnecting all the linkages, disconnecting the ball joints, then just undoing the bolts at either end of the strut. The strut's a easy fit strut, so there's no compression required for the springs to either remove or replace with the new ones. Putting the new spring in is just the reverse of taking the old one out. Again, no compression required, they're an easy fit strut. They bolt straight in. This would probably be the hardest part about getting the strut in, is lining up the bottom bolt, lifting that bottom wishbone, and the bolt's through now. Just a matter of putting all the linkages back on the same way you took them off, and that's the front struts done. The rear leaf springs are definitely a little harder, mostly because they're heavier. Removing and replacing the shockies are very easy at the rear. Just taking the U-bolts and plates off the springs that mount onto the diff housing. Make sure you don't use just a normal hammer on this. You want a hammer that's got a softer end than the bolt. That one there's a brass hammer, so anything that's going to be damaged, it'll be the brass. Quick wriggle and the front bolt falls out, and the rear leaf is ready to remove.
Sorry.
So that's the rear leaf and shockies out. It's just a matter of putting the new back.
Polyurethane. It's had a lot of modifications over the years. This would be the, I don't know how many generation of grease. So that they seem to come out with a new grease every couple of years. But we've had a lot of trouble with these bushes. You know, look at that, it's got the bullets in there, and that's purely to trap grease. They're knurled inside as well. So
It's got a cross-hatching inside it.
So you can't really see it, but they're actually knurled.
I can actually.
Knurled inside again to hold the grease. So it's when you slide that pin through, it doesn't just push all the grease out the other end, you know? So rubber's still got plenty of places on the vehicle, there's no doubt about that, but we find that in heavy load carrying applications, like this vehicle, this car's got 64,000 Ks on it, and that's what came out of it.
Jesus.
See how bad all that is? And that's not going off road, it's a two-wheel drive car. That's just from carrying weight. So you got to have the polyurethane weight.
That's the polyurethane bush that he's referring to. The bullets that he meant, there's little indents around the outside of it that trap the grease and just keep a bit of lubrication in there. These springs were twice the size of the springs that came out, so a little bit extra weight. It really is a two-person job getting these springs back in. A little bit of wriggling and squiggling, and eventually the pin drops in. and we're in business again.
What would the weight difference be between these springs and the ones, you know, the suspension we took out versus what we're going in? Would it be an extra 40 kilo?
As in the weight of the physical springs.
Yeah. Like the car weighed 2.4 before this, would it weigh 2.
How about we'll weigh it before you leave?
That'd be great.
So that's the leaf springs in place. The bushes are in. It's just a matter of bolting it all back up now.
Well, they're greasable too.
Yep.
How often I throw grease in those?
You do it before every trip.
There's the springs all done up. It's time to put the U-bolts on around the diff housing. These really have to be tensioned down. So you can see he's using an electric impact wrench there. Now he's using air. That's just taking him up even tighter. And now he's using a breaker bar just to put that last bit of tension on them. So while they don't have a set tension, you could say it's just very tight. Just marking all the nuts and bolts. Because it's a GVM upgrade, every mechanic has their own little colour. When it comes back to be rechecked, all the marks need to be in place. That's the suspension done. Now it's time for the wheel alignment. Drive the car up onto the hoist here for the wheel alignment. Set up all the gear. I had a problem with the wheel alignment prior to this. I must have hit one too many potholes at Glasshouse, and I knew my towing was definitely out. The right hand front tyre had feathered,
So is the camber caster out much?
A little bit. And yeah, what have we got? 14 odd mil of tow out.
We usually like to go neg half on this side.
Yeah.
Neg half on this side and 0 on this side. Just the way the road cambers like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you want at least neg half and 0. So you got that one standing over, that one standing up.
Yeah.
And we usually like to try and get a degree here, but it's not. You can have half a degree here and a degree here.
Yep.
So it's really, it's a balancing game. If you think of the wheels, if you think of 0,
Yeah.
wheels still at 0. More negative they are, so if they go -1, they're starting to do that on you.
Yep.
They're literally starting to do that.
Yep.
The more positive, they're doing that. So 0 is like that, they're
Yeah.
sitting straight. So the more of that, the more outside feathering you're going to get.
Yep.
The more like that, the more inside feathering
Yep.
you'll get.
we measured the clearance from the ground to the tray prior to starting, and again after we'd finished. The GVM upgrade gave it at the rear about an extra 10 or 15 mil, and at the front about an extra 5
Yeah,
mil.
what do we put those in there?
That looks alright to me.
So the last time I was at the dump, I run the car over the scales there and it came up as 2.4 tonne. So that's what we're measuring it against.
Keep coming. Whoa. Roll on. Stop. 26.0. Yep.
Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button for me if you got something out of this video,
6.0.
and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.